This is how to set yourself up for the Nox Home Sleep Study Kit. Open the kit, it will look quite overwhelming, so here's how to break down each step. The first is a little bit of paper, which you will need to fill out tomorrow, and that's how well you slept overnight. So what time did you turn the lights off? What time did you get up in the morning? That will all need to be filled out tomorrow after the night of sleep. Here's a step-by-step instructions which guides you through on where the device needs to be placed and where each color of the sensor corresponds to on the body. The rest of this looks quite messy, so I'd recommend taking out the finger probe first, which is this one here. You've got some bands that need to go around the body, which is that one. And then the device has all the sensors and wires attached to it already. Finally, there's some adhesive to stick down the sensors once it's already applied to the skin, and some cleaning wipes to prepare the skin beforehand. You have to wear a shirt or a singlet to bed because these clamps will click on or clamp on to the top of a collar of your shirt. From here, this part should dangle down the rest of the body. All the sensors here can be placed over the shoulder if you like to get them out of the way for now. You'll either have blue respiratory bands or white respiratory bands. Either one can be used in the exact same position. It doesn't matter if one's lower or one's higher. They both have the same click mechanism on the back of the device, and you can adjust the tension by pulling the tab. What you need to do is grab the bands. These are little respiratory bands, so each time you breathe in and out, they measure the effort of your breathing. What you need to do is click these onto the back of the device. The way they click on is like a snap mechanism where they go into each other, and when you're taking them off tomorrow, it should just be an unclip. Click this onto the back of the device. You'll hear that noise, and wrap this around your chest and underneath the wires, so it's sitting around the armpit and around the nipple height. This should come back around the other side to click on to the other side of the device. And now you should be sitting comfortably with the device in the middle of the chest, underneath the armpits, one band already around the thoracic area. The next part is this area here where these also snap onto the bottom. That will click on there, and you then need to wrap this part around the body and underneath the rest of the wires, and this will snap on to the bottom part here. This cannula in the plastic bag should already be plugged in. If it's not, you need to push this little rounded thread into the top little circle where it says pressure, because it's monitoring your nasal pressure. This can then come out of the bag and also sit with the rest of the wires until we put it in later. With the belts, please ensure they're not crinkled. They should not have a twist in them at all, and it should be sitting around the abdomen, around the belly button, and then one around the chest. From here, you need to prepare the skin, which involves opening these alcohol sanitizer pads and wiping certain areas of the face. Where we need to wipe is in the middle of the forehead, or at the top line of the forehead, in the corner, to the right side of the eye, on the outer canthus, so just to the side. Exact same on the left side, behind both ears, but this needs to be on the bony point of the ear, not on the soft part, directly behind the ear on a bone called the mastoid process. On both sides. And then you need to do the chin area. Obviously use another pad. The chin area. If you bite down your teeth and you clench your teeth, you'll feel your jaw muscles pop out there. You can put them on these muscles here, or you can put them directly underneath the chin. In the guide, it says you can go underneath the chin here. Depends if you had a beard or if you have facial hair, or if you don't. It doesn't matter where then, underneath the chin directly here or onto the sides, because we're monitoring grinding of the teeth or any jaw movements there. So once again, clean those areas pretty aggressively so the sensors stick and don't have any skin or debris in the way. The final two areas is on the chest here. You need to do underneath the shirt obviously, but right here and here, you need to clean those two areas directly underneath the collarbone, because we're putting a 2-lead ECG on the chest. From here, gather your wires and we can start to apply them. The nasal cannula will be put in last, as it's the most annoying. It's not anyone's favorite, but it is super important to monitor your airways overnight. It's up to you if you're following the guide here. However, I like to start with the two white ones. So you can grab these two here, and then what they're going to say on top is chin. These are the ones that are going onto the cheeks or the chin. So peel the backing off the stickers and start to apply them to the right area, which is right on top of those two side cheek muscles or directly underneath the chin. For this purpose, I'm going onto the side of the cheek, which probably won't stick too well with the facial hair. The next two are the ECGs. So once again, pull the backing off, and this is going to sit right underneath the collarbone, and then underneath on this side too. Directly, probably above the band in the middle of the chest, underneath the collarbone. Once those two are out of the way, you're going to have two plaited cables. Each of these has a left and a right side. So you're going to have 3 on one side for the left, 3 on the other side for the right. These will have the R and the L marked on them, so you know which sides they are going. What I recommend is starting maybe with the left side. The one on with just has an L, which is the gray and the beige colored cable. That needs to go directly behind the ear on that bony prominence, the mastoid process that we talked about before. This other one that's black with beige, that one needs to go near the left eye, because we're monitoring any REM or eye movement, which stands REM being rapid eye movement. It needs to be close to the eye muscles. This green one needs to sit in the middle of the forehead, which is why we scrubbed the area before. This is called ground, and that is a reference point for all the electrodes. You can start to tidy them up if you want them tucked behind the ear to make it easier for you. And then on the right side, this orange one is not the ECG. This is the one that goes on the forehead, on the hairline, just up there. And that should stick there. You've got the R, which is going behind the right ear. And then you've got the right eye, which is going to sit on the outer canthus of the right eye. Once again, you can tidy these up if you wanted to by tucking them behind the ears. Just be careful that you don't pull them too hard, that they all start to come off. Once they're all stuck on, you can either use this roller tape that's supplied in the kit, and they can go over the top of each electrode to ensure that it stays on. Or what you can be doing is grabbing the fixer mold tape here, if you're not allergic to it, and then popping this over the top of the sensors. This ensures that it stays on, otherwise throughout the night you'll be moving in sleep and there's a possibility that the sensors come off, and we all don't want to do this again. Finally, the nasal one, it's not everyone's favorite, but it is super important. So loosen the thread here, pop this onto the top lip with the curved prongs going into the nose, and then follow that thread over the top of the ears so it then sits there, holds down the other wires, and then just fasten the string directly underneath the chin there. Once that's in place, same deal, make sure we are taping this one down, because it is super important that this stays on throughout the night, and more than likely throughout your sleep you would want to pull this off. So tape down either side of this cannula string. The final one is the finger probe, which is this one here. This can sit on either hand, whichever one you prefer. If you're going on your phone or reading a book or using the hand for the rest of the night, then I advise that you put it on the non-dominant hand. Pop this on here. What is super important about this one is that the white cord is on top of the finger. So it needs to sit on a finger where it's quite firm and quite tight. If it's too tight, it won't be comfortable, so make sure it's on a relatively firm finger. The cord will stick up a bit like that. What I don't mind is if this cord sits like this, but this can sit underneath the hand. The device here can sit here, it doesn't matter. However, that cord still has to wrap around on top. What I recommend is still using a piece of the tape that's supplied and taping down this to the middle of the forehand, so that stays on once again with the less chance of it coming off overnight. Two most important ones, save for the end, which is this finger oxygen probe. It's like a typical hospital probe you have to monitor your heart rate and your oxygen overnight. This one is a nasal cannula, which is monitoring your effort or your respiratory breathing efforts overnight as well. These two work with these bands here to give us an indication of your breathing. All the other sensors look at muscles, your heart, your ECG, your EMGs, which is any grinding of the teeth or any muscle activity. And then the ones in the head, obviously monitoring brain waves, which tells us more about your light sleep, deep sleep, medium sleep, REM sleep, all of it. Don't touch anything on the device. Everything turns on automatically. It's pre-programmed to turn on at an appropriate time. It's all Bluetooth connected, so please do not touch any buttons, otherwise it can result in a failure of the study. Hopefully you have a good sleep. When you take it off in the morning, just simply give yourself a bit of a waxing job where you pull it all off relatively gently, and then put all the wires and the device back into the kit, and then hand it back to us tomorrow. What time did you turn the lights off? What time did you get up in the morning? That will all need to be filled out tomorrow.